next up is Luke. Luke just got checked in. I see him there in the chat. All right, we're ready to go with this guy.
What's up, Luke? Coming
people.
from sunny England.
Very sunny.
It's sunny.
It is pretty sunny right now. Not gonna lie.
Okay.
It's
Oh, well.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool over here. It's not too bad.
We had like a 2080 on that.
I hear you.
Well, take it away, Luke.
All right, awesome. Let's share my screen real quick. So let's make this happen. Right, presentation mode. All right. I'm going to ask that cliche question that everybody asks. Can you see my screen? Of course you can. Of course you can. All right. So, yes, today I'm going to be talking about some cool stuff, specifically around e-commerce, of course, and discontinued products and getting them nailed. So I kind of see what you did with the agenda there. I was kind of looking at, listening in to Arsen's presentation and thinking, yes, like I'm literally screaming at my computer, all in my prison cell. As you can see, it's literally white walls, and it's echoey as hell in here, so I apologize. But so much good stuff from that. And so I learned some stuff as well, which is really cool. But what I wanted to talk about today is a question that I get asked as an e-commerce consultant time and time again, like literally at least a couple of times a month, is how do you handle your discontinued products in the world of e-commerce? So yeah, stuff. So who am I? My name is Luke Carthy. I'm an e-commerce consultant. I've done some stuff for some people in the world of e-commerce, and I absolutely love what I do, and I love e-commerce. Weird little fact about me: I also am obsessed with fragrance. I have a company that makes bespoke air freshener stuff like this. Just in case anyone was wondering where I'm from, I am from the UK. I live in Birmingham, not London. I know. But yeah, so let's get into it. Many people may not know who Argos are. But Argos are a big company in the UK. They are basically Best Buy with a catalog, like a physical paper catalog. They're kind of old school, but they're a huge retailer here in the UK with lots of retail stores, big high street presence. And they've made a mistake. They continue to make a mistake, which is big. It's apparent. It's a massive problem, and they need to fix it. And I want to walk you through precisely what that problem is. So, what is the scale of Argos's mistake? Okay, 135,851,000 backlinks to dead, discontinued product URLs. Okay, big numbers, big problems. That's from 2,800 referring domains to dead, discontinued products. Again, huge amount of equity, authority here. These are the sort of links and numbers that, we dream of as SEOs, right? And Argos are just throwing this away. Now, to give you an idea of just how big this situation is, again, here in the UK, we have a FTSE listed construction management company here in the UK called Interserve, and they are huge, massive enterprise company. So basically, the size of Argos's mistake, Argos's cock up, is 3 times the size of Interserve's website. It's such a huge pool of equity that is basically just wiped off the argos.com, argos.co.uk domain, which is a big, big problem. And it's like, this isn't difficult to fix. And I'm going to walk you through how we get to that in a little while. But first, I want to talk about something else. I want to talk about Black Friday, or as I like to call it, Friday. I'm trying jokes here, people. I can't see anyone's face. So this may or may not be funny, but I'm trying my hardest in this prison cell, as I say. So what's going on here?
Luke, you're always better at jokes than Arson, so if it makes you feel better.
Well, Arson's good. So if I'm better than Arson, then that makes me like Chris Rock levels of humor. All right, I'll take it. Thank you. All right, okay, Black Friday. So as we know, especially in the UK, so this is Google Trends, as everyone knows and loves, for the UK. And we're a little bit behind you guys in the States. We're not quite as crazy, not yet, in terms of how things turn up on Black Friday. So every year it gets busier and busier here in the UK. It's still kind of in its infancy. And here's an article from Tech Radar. Everyone knows who they are. If you like gadgets, especially games consoles or TVs, You know about Tech Radar for sure, or mobile phones or whatever. And here's an article covering last year's Black Friday deals on their domain. Now, there are three links to Argos here on this particular page, pointing directly to products. So these are purchase intent, direct URLs, right? But you click those and you go to Argos and you get a big, dirty, horrible 404. You know, it's not good. Think about this for a consumer for a moment. You're all hyped up because you found, you know, this TV. You're thinking, awesome. It's, you know, it's a good price. It's in Black Friday. Got to rush and go and get it. And then boom, you get to the Argos website. No way. We already know, as consumers and even as SEOs and as conversion specialists, 404s are literally just hemorrhaging conversion, sales, customers. It's going to happen. Now, that one specific article on Tech Radar had 566 referring domains to it with 10 follow links, right? So there's a lot going on. Again, a lot of authority here, but these aren't the only guys. Argos are not the only company doing this. There's loads of them. Best Buy are in the same thing. Home Depot have made the same mistakes. Like, there's just retailers that constantly make these big mistakes, and it's costing them equity, it's costing them sales, it's costing them rankings. One other company I want to pick on and highlight, and I hope no one's listening here. So, true story. I did this presentation last year at Search Love, and there was actually someone in the audience from Argos. And yeah, I got in trouble and I pissed off a few people. But yeah, because I had so much fun, I thought they'd leave them in because they still haven't learned the lesson. So I will continue to preach this until Argos decide to book up their ideas. So for Argos, if you're listening, yeah, we're having that same conversation. Okay, so Curry's PC World. Now, again, if you're not in the UK, Curry is a part of the DSG group if you're based in Europe. And if, again, you're further out in the US and so on, in Canada, basically Best Buy. It's the UK's answer to Best Buy. So Curry's PC World are the largest electrical retailer here in the UK. And similar kind of story, right? So we've got Eurogamer here, and there's a backlink to the Curry's product page. Now, Eurogamer, as it kind of says on the tin, really is a really powerful, authoritative blog, resource, social network, or social media following that talks about games consoles, the new coolest stuff and whatever. I'm not a gamer. You can probably tell from the fact that I keep saying stuff. But yeah, I don't game. But again, similar situation here. So the Xbox One X was a new thing back in 2017 or whenever it was. And it was a bit of a big deal. Now, Eurogamer thought of linking directly to the actual Xbox One X to Curry's. Again, purchase intent specific backlink here. Now, big problem, because again, you have a nasty 404. Now, what you might be thinking at this stage is, dude, like, who cares? This is last year's stuff. You know, people aren't after the Xbox One X anymore. They're after the whatever the new Xbox is that's coming out, or the one that's out at the moment. But my point is that these pages are still getting traffic. They're still getting visitors, and people are still looking for those same deals. Just because it's last year doesn't mean it's not valuable. And this is the whole premise of this presentation. Old doesn't mean dead. And it's proven time and time again. So to give you an example here. So this is one of my favorite tools, Ahrefs, RFs, however the guys you want to pronounce it, depends on where you live, to be honest. But I just wanted to give you an indication of how much traffic this is generating. So again, this was a page that was put up in 2017, so quite some time ago. And in the last couple of months, or at least 2018, so a good year after this page went live, you can still see this healthy amount of traffic that's going to this page on Eurogamer, right? So again, not a huge amount of numbers. It's probably not going to be the same amount as, say, the brand new console or some new news, but it's still a lot of stuff. And then when you think about the fact that, you know, Currys have probably tens of thousands of discontinued products, the same for Argos. Yes, it's only a small amount of traffic compared to the global, you know, traffic to the entire site, but you start adding up those discontinued products, those broken links, it's colossal. It's a lot of data, a lot of lost sales, a lot of pissed off customers, to be frank. But again, you know, Currys have some really incredible links that they're just leaving by the wayside at the moment. links to Engadget, links to The Guardian, What Hi-Fi, and I'm a massive audiophile myself. I love the kind of AV games, stuff like that. So What Hi-Fi is a really powerful resource, even from Dell, for support like, where to buy and stockists, really kind of important stuff. Now, to step outside of this tech bubble a second, true story, I'm a petrol head, and BMW have made the exact same mistake in terms of discontinued products and killing some stuff. So BMW, this is the 2013 BMW i3. So by modern times, it's a fairly old car, but they made a bit of a cock up again a few years ago. So here we can see the BMW i3 website. Nothing too, important, nothing too exciting. It's just BMW's website, right? But content, images, information, brochures, you name it, it was all here. And I just want to show you the amount of turbulence that they had during this time. So here's a screenshot from Systrix. I love Systrix. If anyone's never tried it, and it's not, I'm not sponsored or anything like that, it's a really cool tool. The reason why I love it is because it allows you to show you stakeholders and people who are not particularly technical to understand how certain things across time have influenced, rankings organically. And this speaks a lot. It speaks a heck of a lot easier, and it's easier to get stakeholder buy-in on something like this than say, maybe an export from Search Console, which takes a bit of time and takes a bit of description. So anyway, back on topic. So 2013 in July, I keep pointing over here because this is my second screen and I like to point a lot, but yeah. So 2013, this is when the BMW website was at its highest point in terms of authority and equity. And you can see that BMW ranked on position 4 at this point for electric car. Impressive. So the yellow arrow denotes when they decided to start deactivating that website. They killed some pages, they went to 404, and the red arrow is when that website was dead. It was gone, they deleted it. And you can see they dropped way down in the rankings, of course, because the website was there. Now, what they did is in 2000, and where's this? This is like sort of late 2016, they brought out the facelifted BMW i3, which is a 2016 model. Now, what they did is they put that same website back up, tried to redirect and, tidy things up, but they never managed to rank as well as they used to. And this is what I mean about just killing stuff. Just because a product is dead, just because a product is discontinued, doesn't mean people don't want it, doesn't mean it's not valuable. People are still going to be buying the BMW i3, even if it's used, the 2013 model. And it's just another example of how just getting rid of stuff because it's old or dead is a really potentially a bad way of going about things. And again, that old microsite, 1,400 organic keywords, 5,500 organic visits per month, just in the UK alone, and 142 referring domains to it. So, yeah, really kind of powerful stuff, a lot of equity. Now, my ex-employer, Chemist Direct, I can go ham on them now because we're cool, I think. We were, up until I do this bit of the presentation. But yeah, Chemist Direct, online retailer, they sell drugs, legal ones, medicines, that sort of stuff. So I want to now talk to you about a mini case study where we implemented discontinued product SEO, if you like to call it, or improved the user experience and looked at some CRO in order to leverage discontinued products and really start using them to make some more money. And talk you through that. So if there's one part of the presentation that you listen to, it's this bit. So if you're watching this back on record, stop here and just spend the next 10 minutes watching this, because this is like the most important part of the entire presentation. All right. So with this discontinued product SEO, which I'll talk you through in a little while, we managed an 11% increase in sales, which was a £200,000 increase in revenue in just 60 days. Now, I know this sounds like an infomercial and a kind of lose weight real fast kind of advertorial. I promise you it's not like that. It's not going to work this way for everybody, but I just wanted to show you just how powerful this can be if you get it right. Now, what's really interesting is 72% of that £200,000 came from, you guessed it, discontinued products. On that note, does anyone actually remember Tamagotchis? I'm kind of young enough, or maybe old enough, to remember these bad boys. These things were incredible.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, these were also, I can't see the chat right now. I need like another monitor or something because I've got full screen PowerPoint here, and then it's going on. So I'll check the chat in a little while if anyone's gone crazy in the chat or asked me any questions. But yeah, Tamagotchis were the real deal, man, and miss those guys. Anyway, moving on, nostalgia. Here's 3 more benefits to doing discontinued product SEO. As we kind of said at the beginning, right? We claim those links, we claim those keywords, we claim that authority. This is Chemist Direct again, and this is where we started doing that discontinued product SEO goodness to see what would happen. So in August 2016, when I worked at Chemist Direct, I've been there about a year-ish, I kind of said, look, we need to sort this out. And you can see up and to the right, it's the graph that every SEO wants to see unless it's bounce rate. This is what we want to see. This is the good stuff. But on top of that, better, cleaner UX for your customers. So instead of seeing something like this, a horrible 404 page, as comical as they may be, they're frustrating for users. Something better would be like this, right? So give you a perfect example. So this is a Ponyo. I'm a petrol head. I love cars. I buy tires a lot because horsepower, right? And this Dunlop tire, Grand Tech, I don't know, we don't really sell this in the UK, but it's out of stock, discontinued. They don't make it anymore. Dunlop have discontinued this particular product. So what they've done is they've done a really, intuitive pop-up. The design is subjective, and it's basically telling you that, hey, this Dunlop model is discontinued. You can't have this anymore. However, how about this as a solid alternative? And click here to find out more. And that's really cool. But also on top of that, there's no 404 page here. The old product is still active. Although you can't buy it, it's letting you know that it's out of stock. It's letting you know that you can go and read the content about that Dunlop Grand Tech PT 8000 to see if you want to, compare it to another item, find out how good it was, etc., etc. You have that decision as a user rather than that decision being made for you. So again, put this into perspective for a second. Imagine if this was a 301 redirect. So many people do this, and it's not necessarily always the wrong thing to do. But imagine coming to this and being redirected to that Bridgestone Jeweler HP Sport tire. It's going to piss you off. As a customer, you're going to think something's wrong to the point where you might even go back to, say, the email, or go back to Google, or go back to wherever you came from and click the link again, just in case you think you clicked the wrong thing. And this is the time to consider or think about when's the best time to use a 301 or a 302 or a JavaScript redirect, which I know is bad news, but you've got to do what you've got to do, CMS, constraints, and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes, even though a 301 is good for SEO and passing equity to the right places, from a UX point of view, it's an absolute nightmare. If somebody's looking for the Dunlop Grand Tech PT 8000, don't send them to the Bridgestone Jeweler HP Sport. Bit of a mouthful, but you get what I'm saying, right? Another point. Demand often continues way after a product has been discontinued, right? So just because it's no longer for sale doesn't mean people don't want this product anymore. If that was the case, then Gumtree wouldn't be a thing. Again, I don't know if you have Gumtree in the States, but Gumtree in the UK is like the listed thing. I think it's like Craigslist, equivalent to what you guys have over there. Like there's a huge market for used stuff, eBay, for example, right? So to give you a very poignant example right here, Samsung Galaxy S7, like if, again, pretty old phone by modern standards. I think we're up to like the S12 now or something insane with 16 cameras or something crazy. So here we have clearly 2016, peak demand, brand new phone. Samsung just announced it. It's just come out. Carriers started selling this mobile, cell phone, whatever you want to call it. And obviously over time, as technology goes, you've got your peak, you've got your where it levels off, and then you've got your kind of decline. But you can still see, even all the way up, and I'm pretty sure if I Google this now, Samsung Galaxy S7 into Google Trends, you'd still have a small amount of demand. Now, yes, as a retailer, you can't sell this phone anymore because it's not in stock. But I'll get to that in a minute. And some of you might be thinking, Samsung Galaxy S7, broad-ass keyword, dude. That doesn't mean anything. They could be looking for drivers. They could be looking for manuals. They could be looking for cases. That doesn't mean they want to go and buy a Samsung Galaxy S7, right? Well, how about these athletes? So buy Samsung Galaxy S7. I don't think there's a more purchase intent driven keyword than buy Samsung Galaxy S7. And you can still see the demand is there. People still want this phone. Just because you don't want it, and just because the majority of people don't want it, doesn't mean some people don't want it. Okay, so I've preached. I've gone on, I've moaned, I've said why it's bad. I've said, you know, yeah, why it's bad for the last sort of, how long? 20 minutes. Now I'm going to try and spend the next 20 minutes telling you who's doing this well and the things you can do to kind of make discontinued products, SEO, CRO, UX, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't really matter. But the point is, it's going to help conversion, it's going to help increase the sales, and yeah, it's going to keep your stakeholders happy. Who doesn't want that? Okay, John Lewis. Some of you might be thinking, again, this is an international thing. I love this. I love the fact that I have to kind of internationalize the presentation. But John Lewis, again, really strong, profound, luxury high street retailer in the UK. And John Lewis are doing a really good job at managing their discontinued product SEO. So let's take a look at this product page. The Lenovo Yoga 910, you can see convertible laptop, blah, blah, blah. This is a product that's been out of stock for some time. It's discontinued, it isn't coming back, but you can see that the product page is still there. Now, I don't agree with the way that they've kind of gone about it, like the black and white, it's quite faint, so you might miss it if you're just scanning through the page. But if we look at the copy real quick, you've got Lenovo Yoga 910, blah, 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 i7 is no longer available online. So as a user, you've been brought to this page from an email campaign, from a social link, someone shared it with you, however you got this link, you have it. You've gone to this page and you're kind of like, shame, it's not here. However, what John Lewis do is give you some solid alternatives that you can go and take a look at. So as a user, rather than seeing a 404, rather than in 301 redirected to another product, or 301 redirected to another category, or its parent category, or wherever you think it may sit best, the decision is up to the user, okay? Now, I know some of you may have some questions, and maybe some of you are literally like screaming at me right now through your monitor saying, dude, but you're gonna bloat the index. But Google's gonna see all these out of stock products. Don't worry, cool it, it's fine. Sip your wine, chill the fuck out. I got this. So you can see John Lewis, good job. And if we scroll down the page a little bit more, again, more reinforcement that this product is no longer available, which is really good news, as you can scroll down the page and see what's going on in case you missed it the first time. And then, last but not least, right at the bottom, you've got more from this brand. So if you wanted to keep it Lenovo, you wanted to keep brand loyal, you had a particular reason why you chose Lenovo as a brand, then you've got that kind of agnostic, if you like, approach to recommendations here. So you've kind of got, just to go back a step, you've got this kind of generic, similar specs, you know, i7, same RAM, same size. But then if you're doing it for the brand, then here it is. Now, this may not work so well in terms of laptops, but think about it. Footwear, sports, if you're someone who's a massive enthusiast of a particular brand or you're brand loyal, this is really important. This is the sort of stuff you want to get right. So one other place, Chain Reaction Cycles, huge online retailer that sells loads of bike stuff, bike gear, accessories, and they've nearly got it right, So take a look at this. There's some things about this that I absolutely love. So this is a Manitou, however you want to pronounce it. I call it Manitou, but then again, depends on where you are. It's a suspension fork from 2017. Now, if anyone's not familiar with the way that bike equipment works, every year, manufacturers of bikes or manufacturers of bike components will bring out new equipment or improved equipment for the next coming season. So, you know, stuff only lasts a year typically, or doesn't last a year, but it's only on the shelves for a year until they replace it with something else. So this is a 2017 one. It's a good couple of years old, 3 years old now, but the product page is still online. And this is really quite powerful because think about this for a second. You go to Google, or you've got an email link, or again, a social link, or your mate sent you this, whatever. You come to this page. Okay, you can't buy it. It sucks. Currently unavailable. Very sorry, it's not in stock. Bummed out. Ugh, shame. But look at the trust signals that you've got on this page. Look at the whole kind of experience of trying to get you to buy into the brand. New customers save £10 off a £50 spend. Awesome. Some people are going to buy it. Some people are going to take advantage of that. 9.1 on Trustpilot. Incredible score. Free delivery at orders over X. 1 year to return your items. So you're thinking about things from a brand exposure point of view now. So someone who may have never even considered chain reaction cycles before, just wanted that product, has come for that product, can't find it, and now thinking about buying from chain reaction cycles another item. Now, it's a bit of a long-term strategy, but again, think about this over tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions of products spent on the side of the retailer. Really, really powerful, really powerful. And then the real good thing that chain reaction cycles have done is they've kept the content in place. So I know, Arson a little while ago before I was presenting was speaking about content and how it's important and helping users to find what they need. Again, yes, you can't buy this product, but you have the specifications there if you want to compare it to another item. But they've been clever because you've got more trust signals on the page again. Delivery cost, free. Delivery to UK, the payment methods you've got, the specifications, your Trustpilot score. All through this page, yes, you can't buy it, but they're giving you reasons as to why you should buy a different item from this same retailer. Super powerful stuff. eBay. Now, I don't need to translate this one because everyone knows who the hell eBay is, right? So another really powerful brand that are doing big things right now in the world of discontinued products. But before I go to the next slide, let's just think about it for a moment. You are buying something off eBay, or you've just missed out, that horrible pain that you get in your chest when something's just expired and you've just missed out by a few seconds and the auction's closed. Imagine if, because that auction's closed and because it's now sold and technically discontinued, eBay just took that down. So when you go to your watch list, or if you've been at work and you forgot about it and you check it in the evening, or maybe you check it in a few weeks, or maybe you check it after 6 months or however long, eBay keeps those listings live for a certain amount of time because there is gold in eBay's history in their previous listings. And I'll walk you through exactly how that works. So again, petrol head. I'm not necessarily a Honda fan. I know Hondas have got a certain kind of rep over there in the US. So I'm just saying I'm not a Civic driver. But you can see that this listing ended in 2015. This was like 5 years ago, long time ago, but this listing is still active on eBay. Why is it still active? Well, I'll tell you, because think about it from eBay's perspective for a moment. You've got this in your watch list, in your My eBay account or your eBay account. You have this in an email, that a recommendation that eBay sent out to you, things to watch, your notifications are ending soon, and you just happen to stumble across it many years later. But look, the ecosystem of eBay is fire because you have all these similar items to keep you looking on eBay, to get you looking at the next best thing from somebody else, from another seller, which is powerful. Or equally, if it's been relisted, then you can go straight to it. Imagine a world of eBay when it just went to 404 or just went to 301. It just 301 you to a category or the home page. Not going to work. It's going to cost eBay a serious amount of money. Another example. This one's even older. Now, I don't know how big Popeye is over there in the US or anywhere else in the world, but in the UK, Popeye was popping. Popeye was the one to watch. And this is an old school VHS cassette tape. And the reason why I use this as an example, we already know that eBay is used for all kinds of weird and wonderful stuff, whether it's collector's items, whether it's rare kind of, stamps that people like to collect, or just some really weird shit that people want to sell. All of this stuff is gold from an authority point of view. These rare finds won't come around again. So keeping these active and allowing you to find similar items that are for sale is great, as we can see right here. So just because it's old doesn't mean it's not gold, doesn't mean you should get rid of it. All right, so earlier I spoke about people that are going to be freaking out about, yeah, but if I turn all my discontinued products back on, then Google's going to be really pissed off and it's going to have to crawl billions of URLs on my site and so on and so on and so on and so on. Well, listen, I'm about to satisfy that fear, that anxiety right now, because this is how you distinguish or how you set it up in a way that keep Google happy and you keep your users happy. Now, I'm guilty of this myself as an SEO. Sometimes we are so caught up as an SEO that we assume that because the page is going back online, it also means it's going to be accessible to Google. It's like our default state of mind. But you have to remember there is UX and there is SEO, and sometimes they don't always meet. Sometimes it's about a compromise in the middle. And you know what I'm talking about. If you've worked with web designers, there's that, yeah, but it looks pretty, yeah, but it's slow argument. Or if you work with the world of CRO, it's like, I want to do an A/B test, but yeah, how does Google work that out? There's always those nuances, and this is the perfect nuance that I think works for discontinued products. So using eBay again as an example, I crawled a couple of your ads, Honda being one of them, a bunch of other cars, and you can see that some of them are indexable and some of them are non-indexable, but they all give you a 200 response code, so you know that they're all online. So again, this is really cool stuff. And I'm trying to think of a way to explain this as easy as possible. So, okay, here we go. So I just wanted to kind of show you in this slide that even eBay don't have everything that's discontinued indexable, because that would just kill them. It would just throw way too many spanners in the works and multiple contexts, not just SEO. Imagine their hosting costs and all of that kind of cool stuff. So, okay, so how can you optimize your own discontinued products? So first up, turn them on. Be a good shout. You can't optimize them unless you turn them on. But, big but, be careful, be super careful. And I cannot stress how careful you need to be here, because I have worked with clients who have turned on discontinued products and shit has hit the fan, because either they did rush, or either they rushed, or they didn't communicate with the department, and it caused a big issue. So the first thing to do is exclude your discontinued products from your internal search. Okay, so your site search that you have, make sure your discontinued products are not included in that, because the last thing you want is to allow users to search for really old stuff that they can't buy anymore. Or equally, try and search for like Sony PlayStation, for example, and then they see the PS2 pop up. Like, why would you want that? You can't buy that console anymore. So make sure the discontinued products are excluded from your internal site search. This I'm going to spend some time talking through. Set your rules. Now, as a rule of thumb at Chemist Direct, the company I spoke about a little while ago, we had a rule where from the date it was discontinued, it would remain in the index for 12 months after that date. So if it discontinued today, it would remain in the index for another 12 months. Now, just to be clear, it was a little bit more it was a little bit more granular in its rule setting than that, because there's a discontinued date, and then there's a date where all your stock sells through. Because an item could be discontinued, say, a year ago, but you still got stock. You don't want to take that out of the index because you want to sell that stuff, unless there's an override or a kill switch as the reason why you might not want that index anymore. Maybe it's just not, okay, or it's not environmentally friendly, or it's banned, or whatever. But in most cases, discontinued products, when the stock is sold through, keep it in the index for 12 months. After 12 months, no index, follow. And this is just a general consensus. So no index, follow. Then maybe after another 3 months or 6 months or whatever works for you, then you no index, no follow at this point. But what I have heard, and I haven't got the slide in here, but I remember having a conversation with John Mueller at, I think, Search Love, or a conference back in the world where we used to be able to go outside. And he mentioned that no follow index eventually becomes no index, no follow. So regardless whether you change it or not, Google will just see it over time and think, it's going to be no index, no follow. What else have I got for you in this capacity? So we've got no index after 12 months and follow, and then eventually graduate into no index, no follow at that point. But of course, you're keeping the product page alive. Only when, and a rule that we had is only when demand or only when page views fell below a certain amount, would it be put into a pool to then consider manual reviewing. And that manual review could be at that point a 301 redirect to something else, or it could be to just kill the product and give it a 410, 410, whatever you want to call it. But these were general rules. But what is going to define these rules for you is your churn of products. Okay, if you're something like eBay, or maybe use a bad example, but if you're in like fashion, where it's super churn, it churns really quick, or FMCG, fast moving consumer goods, these things are going to be flying around, and therefore, how long you want to keep that product in the index for and how long you want to keep that product alive is going to differ than if you sell used cars, for example, where a used car is going to be like on your lot for a while. It's going to be in demand for quite some time after you've sold that particular vehicle, right? So just to give you an indication of the rules and how you should set that. Engage visitors on entry, right? So as we said, just like chain reaction cycles, tell them what you're good at. So yes, you can't buy this product, but why should I stay on this site? Are you going to give me an incentive? Have you got really good reviews? Have you been around a while? Are you offering free delivery? Are you basically saying that, hey, you can't buy this Sony PlayStation 3, but the Sony PlayStation 4 is right here for you to go and take advantage of? Engage people, leverage that potential sale. And you have to remember that if you're optimizing your discontinued products well, there's a pretty high chance that most of your competition is not going to be doing the same. So you have an organic opportunity here to make sure that things are cool. Flash your best bits, which again is just reinforcing what I said in the last slide about engaging visitors, but tell them why they should buy from you. Give them some alternatives that they can take a look at. So again, if a red phone case is not available in that particular design, then show them some other red phone cases that they can take a look at. And oh my God, if there's a rule that I can tell you to take away from this, it's this one. It's been an expensive mistake for a couple of people. Exclude your discontinued products from your paid search feeds, your PLA, your Google Shopping, whatever you do, your Facebook Shopping, your Shopify Shop feeds. Take it out. Take it out because it's going to cost you. You can't sell stuff you haven't got. So make sure that your discontinued products are not landing in your paid search feeds, because you're just going to piss people off. And when I say piss people off, I mean CEOs and stakeholders and finance managers and people, right? Because Google will still take your money. They don't care. So avoid redirects where possible. So the elephant in the room, redirects. I'm not saying don't redirect, okay? I know I've kind of banged on about redirects and how you shouldn't, but there is sometimes cases where you just have to do that, whether it's like an internal issue, whether your CMS won't allow you to be as flexible as the way I'm talking, or maybe it's just resource. You haven't got resource to take the time to take a look and manually review this whole pot of products and where to put them. But you've got to think about it from a user perspective. Yes, 301 redirects, you've got to pass equity to the nice juicy places. So if you've got a Samsung Galaxy S7 listing and you 301 redirect that to the Samsung Galaxy S12 or whatever the hell you're on now, yes, you're going to pass that lovely Google juice off to the other page. But where you win in SEO, you normally lose sometimes in the world of UX. So just think about how that's going to work and just, use a bit of initiative from a customer perspective to see how that's going to work for you. Data layer, and this is something I love. So Simo Ohara, I hope I'm pronouncing his surname correctly, but Simo is an absolute legend. And I'm sure if anyone works in Google Analytics, with Google Tag Manager, and even as SEO, Simo is just like the Wikipedia of all things data layer. But this is incredible because what it allows you to do is keep tabs on the amount of discontinued products you have in Google Analytics. To give you an example, you could have a custom dimension in GA, and this is a whole different topic that I've got, but I'll spend a little bit of time talking about it. You could have a custom dimension in GA, which on every single PDP page view sends the stock status or the product status of that item. So if the item's in stock, you send a hit scope custom dimension to GA to say, hey, this particular product is in stock. And if it's not in stock, you send it's out of stock. And of course, if it's discontinued, you say it's discontinued. Now, what that then means is you can have a report just to give you an idea of, first of all, how many visitors are seeing your discontinued products. And if it falls below a certain threshold at that point, so let's say, for example, if it falls below, say, 100 page views or 100 sessions a month to a discontinued page, it could go into your pool to then redirect, or 410 if there's nothing else more suitable. But this is why data layer is so cool, because rather than you having to go through a CSV and do like a crawl and do all this kind of manual work, data layer can do all the heavy lifting for you. And all you need to do is add a filter to a CSV export or to a report in Google Analytics and just pull it each month. Or if you're clever and you're a developer, I'm not, you can probably build something automated with Python or, I don't know, GPT, GTP3, whatever that new fancy AI thing is, and take care of this. But this just allows you to get a bird's eye view of everything that's discontinued and take actions on a quarterly, monthly, weekly basis, however that works for you. Last but not least, keep an eye open. Like, discontinued products are sensitive. Yes, there's big wins to be had here, but there's also the potential of making a big mistake. Just like messing around with your robots.txt file, right? Just like poking around with parameters in Search Console. Like, just be careful. Maybe try a closed test. Maybe try it on a particular brand first. Maybe try it on a small scope of products. Try not to do a global rollout. And of course, don't do it on live before you do it on UAT, just common sense. But I've seen it happen before. People get excited and just put it to live and then, oh my God, what have I done? So keep tabs on, performance, keep tabs on your bounce rate, keep tabs on your conversion, keep your qualitative and quantitative feedback surveys open so customers can you can get feedback from customers whether they appreciate discontinued products on the site or not. And I think last but not least, before I get to my last slide, I just want to give you another example. We all have printers, or maybe not, actually, we're the worst kind of people. I don't have a printer, but we've all wanted a driver for something over the years, whether you bought a new computer or your printer's been a div and you just can't find the driver for it. And the amount of times you Google, HP, EasyJet, yada, 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 software update, driver. Imagine if HP kept decided to delete that because the printer's no longer in production. There's still a lot of demand for stuff like this. So just think about how you can harness that content, that user base, and really kick it off. Last but not least, if you've enjoyed anything I've said, there's some stuff here you can go and see. There's a blog post I've written on discontinued products. And lastly, I have done some webinars. I've done a specific detailed webinar on discontinued products where I talk for literally 40 minutes and just things you can do and things you can't do and best practice and that kind of thing. Head to my website, lukecarthy.com, and yeah, I hope that's been helpful, guys.
It's been brilliant, mate. Thank you, Luke.
Yeah, awesome.
We actually had some questions came in.
Questions? Let's have them.
Yeah, so let's go to the first one here. This is from Shannon. Do you recommend linking internally to old product pages, or is it okay to just leave them as orphans?
It's a good question. I'm going to try my best to not say that magic 2 words that everyone says in the world of SEO, right? But I would say link where you can. But also think about how that link works, because rather than linking to your old products, so if you landed on a discontinued product, don't then link to another discontinued product. So the idea is, if you land on an old product, maybe link to other products that you can actually go away and buy. Maybe thinking slightly outside of the scope of e-commerce for a second, how about linking to content? So, content typically lives a lot longer than, say, a product. So your Sony PlayStation versus Xbox argument could probably be a good piece of content to pass to if the PS3 is no longer available, for example, just to kind of throw an idea out there. But try not to link old stuff to old stuff if you can help it. And lastly, sorry to expand on that question, the way to do it really well is to lean on your product recommendations engine. So rather than kind of manually thinking about stitching these links in, use your product recommendations, your AI, your personalization to take care of those internal links for you, because then it's done at scale, it's automated, and you haven't got to worry about fractiously going through tens or hundreds of thousands of products and sorting out your links.
Constantly, yeah. Okay. We have another question from Frank Watson here. Why block internal search and not use the no longer being made, but here are the new alternatives? Now, how is internal search results different to Google search results? Wouldn't they use the same landing pages?
Yeah, so your internal site search, if you think about like your, that's a good question. If you think about your suggested search, so if you're searching for, again, I'm thinking of games right now, it's where my brainwaves at, but if you're searching for Sony PlayStation, the last thing you want is to see a PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 still about. You know what I mean? That legacy console in those suggestions, because you can't buy them. And you can guarantee that, as a ballpark figure, 95% of people who are searching are going to be looking for the stuff they can buy, not the stuff they can't buy, which is the reason why you want to make sure that your internal site search excludes those things. However, there has been an edge case where I've worked with a client in automotive, and they've got part numbers. So, if you search for an old part number, for, let's say, an oil filter for a car, and that oil filter has been superseded by a new part number, then there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't want that old part number searchable to then redirect you to the new one. So again, there's nuances in terms of how this sort of thing will work. But as a general rule of thumb, you don't want customers seeing old stuff when they're trying to search for products that they can buy.
Great stuff. That's good. I know we took it right up to the limit. You nailed it.
So
fantastic work, sir.
Thank you, gents. It's been a pleasure, man. I've really enjoyed it.